after last week, when you did your song, I've made a song.
Okay.
Now, this is when I forget the words, because I was thinking about this the whole week, and I think I've nailed it. If you go down to Darkroot today, be sure of a big surprise. If you go down to Darkroot today, you'd better bring all the guys. 'Cause every monster ever there was will gather there to kill you, because the day's the day that Darkroot is going to kill you.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Leading in nicely from that, yes, this is the Dark Souls podcast with myself, Paddy Stardust, and my good friend.
I am also called CJ.
CJ, the caffeinated Sevyar.
Yaha.
This is episode. We're up to 7 now.
We are. Did you put 6 up on YouTube?
It's going up after I finish this. I was lazy this week.
Because I didn't realise that we got comments on YouTube until Sean pointed it out yesterday. And replied to the good sirs that have been listening on YouTube. And if you've been listening on YouTube and you haven't put a comment on the YouTube page, please do, because I will reply, even if my ginger friend will not.
I might reply.
You should do it as well. I like the fact that the folks are listening and hopefully nodding along and smiling and laughing and just having a bit of a riot, because it's a lot of fun to do, and I think that you and I are having more fun the more sort of we chat and stuff. So it's getting a bit looser as well as tighter.
Bit loosey goosey.
Yeah, as well as tighter McWriter.
Oh yes. And I've already thought of the name for today's podcast. It's clearly Teddy Bear's Picnic.
Yeah, I think you've called that early.
That's it. It came to me in a flash. I was like, done, job done. Yeah. That's the earliest we've ever decided a title.
It is indeed.
That's a first on the Dark Souls podcast.
Hurrah!
So this week, where we finished off last week was Sens Fortress, I believe. Was the last thing we talked about last week.
Was it?
I think it was. It was a while ago.
Because we did. We did the catacombs, and then I was saying that sort of afterwards I was having trouble in the catacombs myself, because when I was going in solo, even though I was made of fire, full of fire, and lobbing out fire like a mad lad, I wasn't defeating the pinwheel boss. You
were approaching maximum fire, but it didn't work.
Yeah, that's sorted now.
That's good job.
In my PS3 game, the one that's mirrored with yours, I've now sorted that. I had a bit of a wander into Tomb of the Giants to say hello to a few old friends, and then I realised in the game that is mirroring Sean's that I haven't been into the catacombs, so went down to there and just floored Pinwheel straight away and got the mask that I wanted.
Yay!
Mask of the Child is the best of the masks. It does make you look like Jasper from Twilight, but it gives you look, Ma, I is Jasper from Twilight.
Do you know what's amusing there? I think you've betrayed yourself there, because I don't know who Jasper from Twilight is. How do you know who Jasper from Twilight is?
I will nail my colours to the mast and say, without doubt, I love the books. I love the books. I'm not a fan of the films, but I do love the books, and I realise that will bring a huge amount of ire from many people. But on a slight aside from that, I always think it's funny when comic book fans have a go at Twilight, because essentially the Cullens are the X-Men. And somebody went to Stephanie Meyer and said, like, they are the X-Men, aren't they? And she was like, I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, I love the X-Men. And I always like a creator that can kind of go, yeah, that's one of my influences.
They're not the X-Men.
Yeah, they are.
That offends me to my very core.
You are a troll.
They're princing, preening pretty boys, and the X-Men are mutant freak people that the world hates. The vampires are hiding because they're dark and they're secretive. The X-Men they're gonna get shot.
You're one of those comic book Trumptons that can't see a comic book in something else that's a little bit different and go, we don't like those things over there.
I see comics in plenty of things, but not that thing.
You were a fool, sir.
We watched the first movie for Science in my house, and it made me upset.
The movies aren't great. Actually, the third one is a really, really good movie. David Slade directs it wonderfully. There's a gorgeous kind of almost Polaroid effect to the opening sequence, which is very good. But no, I'm not a fan of the movies. But I am a fan of the books. So.
That's at least 1 point back in your favour. I don't know. I'm not sure I can trust you anymore.
I don't know. I mean, I to be honest, I don't care what the world thinks.
Clearly.
If you experience something, whether there's hype there or not, whether people will give ire and scold you for it or not, if you enjoy something, you enjoy something, and you just got to look back at the world and say, if you can't respect the fact that I enjoy that, if you don't, then fair enough. If, otherwise, fuck off.
I guess we'd better end this podcast there then. Apparently, yeah. I need to go fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on from that. Moving on from vampires.
Yes.
So, yes, since when we kicked off, I'd just finished Sens. Mm-hmm. I think you tied around with Sean a bit as well. Since finishing Sens, I thought, okay, I've got a bit of time free. I'm going to potter around. I might go level up my pyromancy glove.
Cool.
Because frankly, it absolutely decimated the golem in Sens Fortress. And I was like, yeah, we're getting some more of that right out there. So I thought I'll go back into Blighttown. I'll trottle back through. Going back through Sens Fortress was a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. I kept forgetting about monsters that were kind of round corners, but not round corners because they're in the different angle.
Because that's the thing with Sens, you can kind of have an idea of it in your head, and think I'm going to explore a bit more of this because there's a few secrets that I don't think I've found, and then you can kind of take for granted the stuff that you think you know,
like the positioning of all the traps.
Yeah.
So you think of the traps as right. That one's going to hit me from the front. That one's going to hit me from the back. That one's going to hit me from the left. And you run through, and you put your shield up to the front, and they hit you in the ass 3 times. Absolutely stupid. So I mean, I got back through it just about with a bit of effort. Toddled on past Santa, toddled off, and I went down the quick way towards the back entrance of Blighttown. So I thought, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, don't do the front entrance. The back entrance. That sounds terrible when I put it like that.
Yeah, but, not after getting lost for an hour and a half last time. So I took the back entrance down to Blighttown. I worked out a strategy against the big guys with the giant clubs that you just run past them.
Take on the fatties and steal their poo.
You can steal their poo without even taking them on. You can run past them, run to the very first ladder at the corner of Blighttown, and they'll just run at you and go, "Oh look, what's on the floor there?" And just jump off the edge. And most of the time, they'll fall somewhere where you can acquire their loot.
You've now seen sort of what it's like when you get the drop of their giant Cadbury's Flake.
Yes.
With that moveset, with me having it, which is a
giant colossal thwack of this giant-sized man club.
It is the giant club, but I'm still sticking with the one with all the nails in because it's that moveset is just awesome. That R2 move. It's just glorious. If I could do that to people in the supermarket, I would.
Well, if you go to certain parts of London, you can. Stick with nails. This is Cockney Simulator.
Yeah, it's in fact expected.
So getting back through, got back through Sens, went down to Blighttown, trottled on down, spoke to the pyromancer, got in and out without too many incidents, which was nice. Trottled on back away again, and nothing really happened, which was good. And I got back out of Blighttown, and I thought, okay, I'm at the back entrance again. Before I do anything else, I'm going to have a little look down towards this Valley of Drakes, because it's called the Valley of the Drakes. I thought I'll have a look down and see what's here. As you do, so I sort of trottle off, I had a couple of panicky moments where I nearly fell off the bridge, because I wasn't really paying attention. So I was trottling down, and you go down, and there's this nice, quite a nice image when you come around a corner, and you can kind of see this big valley stretching away with a bridge in the background, and little blue blobs, which turn out to be bad guys, but they just look like blue blobs from a distance, which is kind of cool. And you walk past this kind of, giant dead dragon thing. This is the story of how I pooed myself.
That should be the start of the podcast. It's just like, I was going to listen to that with with a little bit of an eye to finding out about what was going on in Dark Souls. But here's a man who's openly shat himself. Is this even the same podcast?
And he's regaling of such tales.
Pod chat.
Yeah. So I yes. So yeah, I trotted on down towards this giant, dead-looking, bony dragon thing, and I thought, he looks kind of cool. And I had a little look at him from a distance, that's a cool-looking model. That he's just kind of cracked out and died there. That's kind of cool. And I noticed he had some stuff around him. I thought, ooh, free stuff. Toddle.
He actually has, in my opinion, the greatest sword to start the game with.
It's a good sword. Had I not already surpassed it with something else, it would have replaced it. But
it's unsurpassable in the early start of the game. If you get the master key and you go down through New Londo ruins and if you unlock that door, you can get to that dragon pretty much straight away.
And grab the great sword.
If you get that sword, because it scales with miracle power as well. If you're going down the miracle path, honestly, that sword is incredible in the catacombs, with the fast movement and the extra power of enchantment. I think it is that he's got. It's just phenomenal, but it's more powerful than the Drake sword, and whereas the Drake sword stays where it is, and the stats don't increase as you go on, unless you're going to use something like dragon scales, which are in short supply anyway. If you're going down the miracle path and you're going to level up to use the likes of lightning spear and great lightning spear and some of the sunlight covenant goodness, that sword will keep on increasing with your strength. I think it increases with strength, dex, and miracles. So it becomes
pretty mad.
Really powerful sword, and you can upgrade it at the merchant that's in New Londo ruins as well. So if you take that, because it's twinkling titanite that it takes, which can be found all around. So I'd imagine you can get it up to at least a +2 or +3, and it's only about 14 intelligence, I think, that it needs to use miracles.
And that's not bad, is it?
Honestly,
that's a reasonable requisite.
It's a brilliant sword. It does tons of damage, and if you start down that miracle path, you're automatically making yourself a more powerful sword every time you increase another stat. But belting sword, love it to pieces.
Yeah. So anyway, I traveled on down to where the shinies were. That was the first one I picked up. I was like, oh, cool, a sword. As you pick it up, I forgot what game I was playing. Because an item.
Did you just not see it?
No, I wasn't paying attention. I thought, oh, look, an item. Picked it up. And then the big dead dragon woke up. I panicked. I think I might have screamed. Yeah, Laura was watching me play, and Laura confirmed I did actually scream.
I was just going to ask if Laura was in the house when it happened.
Yeah, she was watching.
Because otherwise, your pooing yourself is not validated. But
she was watching me play. She was watching me play that bit, and I screamed. She laughed. I ran away back to work, going, "Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap!" Got away with my life. It did hit me, and I got away with maybe 1/10 of my life left. And I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Yeah. Turned around and see this giant bonky dragon thing that has now woken up, is now puking this purple poison shite.
Did you not lob some fire at it?
What I did, I thought, I'll stand.
Was the panic setting in at that point?
The panic was still in full flow. It took a few seconds for that to go away, so I was like, what am I going to do? I've got to get past that.
Because it is funny when you kind of get upon a situation which genuinely shocks you, and then you just get out by the skin of your teeth, and then you think, why the hell didn't I do that?
Yeah, trust me, there will be more of those before this conversation is over. So what I did with the dragon is I pegged him with a couple of poison arrows. I thought they're quite good, and I pegged him a couple of times with that, and it wasn't really doing much damage. I don't think it could have been poisoned because it's a big poison dragon.
I was going to say he is made of poison. I usually just use the standard 3, the ones that cost 3 souls sort of arrows, and just stand there for about half a year.
Well, I still have my full complement of pyromancy spells left. Just lots and lots of fireballs. So I just chucked them and chucked them and chucked them until he fell down dead. Breathed a little sigh of relief. I went and cleaned myself up. Picked up all the extra goods, which weren't that great compared to the sword. And then after recovering my heart back from my mouth, toddled on forwards towards this Valley of the Drakes. The next guy I met were those blue dragons, which are they're kind of cow-sized, aren't they? They're kind of big.
Yeah.
You know, they're big and they're beefy and they're kind of wide as well. And you travel down through this Valley of the Drakes on this kind of very, very sort of path on the side. It's a very, very small path that can take one dude. If there were two of you abreast, one of you would have fallen off.
I think I know what your next pooing yourself moment is going to be, but yeah, I'm ready in anticipation.
Well, I didn't poo myself as bad this time because I think my panic levels were already at kind of the adrenaline was still running, so I was ready for something else this time because I remembered what game I was playing.
If I was a betting man, I'd lay my cards down on the fact that it wasn't when it breathed lightning. It was the point where it flew at you over a long distance.
Actually, it did try to fly at me from a long distance, and I went, ah! Backwards. But it kind of flew and it missed. And it kind of sits right on the edge, like just a giant troll. And it sat there on the corner of this path, and it couldn't walk past the kind of corner of the mountain to get to me. So it was literally squatting at the end of the path, gobbing lightning at me over and over and over. And I'm thinking, how the Christ am I going to get past this? So I kind of did an experimental run in. It hit me with the lightning, and it hurt. It really hurt. It didn't kill me, but it was fucking close. So I backed off again. I thought, what have I got? What have I got? I've still got poison arrows. Shot a few, lamed it out, waited for it to die. I didn't feel so good about that one, but frankly, it was being a troll. So
best way to do it, kid.
So I lamed it out. I let it die. And then sprinted on through to the next bit, dodged nimbly around the next dragon, and I noticed either to my left there was another bridge with another couple of those dragons on it, and I thought, you know what, sod that.
I think there's about 5 there, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I thought, I can't take one of these on in close combat and definitely win yet, I'm going to come back later. So I ran off to the right instead, tucked into there's a kind of secret lift tucked in around the corner that takes you down to the back entrance to Darkroot Forest, I think, doesn't it?
Absolutely, but isn't that sort of what we've been saying previously, that you can panic, and then the game will people peg the game as being unfair, but the game will give you something like a shortcut.
Yeah, and it was really handy little shortcut. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. So trolleyed on down through there. I think you come out very, very near a campfire there, don't you?
You do indeed, yeah. Yeah,
so tagged in there. Made a happy day, said, right, brilliant, awesome. I thought, I'm going to continue on through to Darkroot Basin. That's a new place. I'll through.
I'm wondering if you've been down that way previously, or if...
Nope.
If...
So I toddle on forward, thinking, right, new area, it's going to start well, it can't be that bad. Turn a corner. Guess who's back? It's Sauron. Once again, Sauron the Black.
That was there.
Yep, he jumps down from a ledge. It's like, hello, stab. That fight did not last long. I think I ended up rolling off into the basin out of sheer bloody-minded panic because I didn't see him coming round the corner.
As far as the screams and matching up the level of scream, how was this compared to the previous two?
Okay, well, if the dead dragon that woke up, if the panic level of scream on that was, I would put that at an 8 out of 10. I would say when Sauron got me, it was closer to a 6. Just because I recognised him as Sauron, and I thought, okay, some of these guys are beatable. And it wasn't that big. It wasn't like the level woke up and looked at me and gobbed on me.
But the weird thing is about that massive dragon that's there is that the dragon is massive.
Huge.
And you don't see it.
Because it just looks like a rock.
Well, it actually does look like a massive dragon. But I think the game probably lulls you into thinking that it's nothing, because I'm sure it's breathing at that point. If you do get close, it is sort of moving slightly.
I did not know. I'm going to have to Google that later. I respawned back at the bonfire. Took him out the second attempt because I was ready for him this time.
Yeah.
Not just running straight to his sword. Picked up that grass shield, which was quite cool, which gives you improved stamina, so I've experimented with that a bit as well.
It's a good shield.
Little shield down the front. And then I trolleyed on back, and I went into Darkroot Basin via the back door, as it were.
Check out all the bling.
Check out all the bling shiny men, man. So yeah, I trottle on into Darkroot Basin. You meet the crystal guys just around that corner.
You do indeed.
Yeah, and I thought they were really easy. They were worrying me because they're basically the crystal guys. They look like just like a chunk of rock, a big chunk of like diamond rock that's been given arms and legs, and they just sort of
when you stab them.
Yeah, they sort of lumber up to you.
Yeah,
they can hit hard, but they're very slow.
I think if you become mindful to the moveset,
Hmm.
you're fine with them because they're guys. I mean, I know I've played it for a long time now, but they're guys that I'll two-hand like a spear or whatever on them because once you see them going into that massive moveset, you can dodge out the way, and then when the arms swung around,
you've got about 3 weeks to dodge.
You can twat bastards.
Yeah. So yeah, I took out a couple of those guys. I then saw the Hydra in the distance, kind of wiggling around in the distance, and I thought, ha ha ha, screw that. Because
it didn't get you with
really
far away. The water then?
No, didn't hit me with water yet because I was still too far away.
Uh-huh.
And I saw the Hydra, and I saw it kind of wiggling around in the distance, and I thought, that looks really big. You know what? I'm going to go somewhere else. And I noticed a tower off to the right. And I thought, there's a tower. Let's go see if I can get in there. Toddled off up towards it, opened the door, no problem. I thought, cool. Walked in, and I met Havel.
Havel's awesome.
This was 5 out of 10. Again, wasn't ready. Forgot what game I was playing. Walked in. Oh, what's this new place? Thulwhack. He trolleyed me fairly easily.
The thing is with Havel, it's not even worth putting your shield up against him.
No, absolutely.
Just going two-handed, jump when he goes, and then sort of try and twat him from behind, really. But I've because the master key opens up that bit from the top, from Undead Burg.
Yeah, so you take him on before you get to the Taurus demon if you've got the master key, if I'm not mistaken.
But even the amount that I've played the game, it's still I still think it's a challenge with 3 people, because if someone's down below and they're taking him on with hand-to-hand combat, you can get people that are lobbing lightning spears or hitting magic and stuff. But that bastard will follow you right to the top of the stairs.
Yeah, he's quick.
Yeah,
he is a nimble man.
Locked away in that tower, in inverted commas, for his own good, according to the law. Seriously.
See, now that's interesting, because, he was a dick. But I took him out on the second attempt, and I kind of felt it was a very touch-and-go fight. I almost ran out of Estus, just because I was kind of... You sort of see a move coming and think, right, I'll dodge now. I dodged too early. Thwack. But I got the hang of it eventually. He dropped his ring, which was kind of a nice little ring.
It's a great ring.
Yeah, doubles your equipment load, I think, or gives it an extra 50% or something. So you can wear heavier stuff.
It's good for boss battles as well, because you can insulate yourself against being hit, but you can also sort of keep quite nimble. So it's a really good ring to have. Yeah,
definitely. So took him out, felt kind of good. Went up and discovered that was the bit underneath the Taurus demon, which was quite interesting. I was like, oh wow, that connects to that. Cool.
Did you hit that octave?
Yeah, it was. Oh wow, look at that. Oh yeah. Bonfired it up again. Then thought, okay, there's a Hydra. Let's go say hello. Toddled on back downstairs. Headed back out, took out a couple of the crystal guys. And as you walk forwards, you sort of see it move. You think, okay, it sees me. I think it sees me. And then it gobs like water electric lightning bolts at you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they actually were. They were like pulse blasts made of water.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 of them in a big spread. And that was Poo Central as well. I think that's probably a 7.
Okay.
Oh, gee, like the first time I was like, right, okay, I can get in. What's he doing? Why is he? Oh, Jesus Christ, lasers!
Jesus Christ, lasers.
Yeah,
that
Jesus
would be
Christ,
the greatest musical.
Jesus Christ, Laser Man.
Came down from God with a frying pan, made some eggs, something else, shining like a unicorn's belt.
Yeah, Joseph and the Technicolor lasers.
Don't ruin it.
I'm in the 70s. Yeah, so what I did, I thought, right, strategy, run in as fast as you can. Because I'd taken out all the crystal guys by this point. I kind of teased them away from the lasers and took them out in the cover. I thought, right, clearly he's going to keep lasering me. There's nothing I can do here. Let's run really fast at him. So I did, and I ran really fast at him, and I got right up in his grill. And then I found out what his melee attack was. And the Hydra's melee attack, for those who haven't installed it, is all of his heads kind of stab at you all at once. And they all kind of hit in like 15 different directions. Like, boom, 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 boom.
That's a brilliant impression of the noise that they make.
Yeah, because they don't hit at the same time. They kind of go boom, 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 boom. And you hear this noise of just so many of these heads thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I going to do? I think, okay, right, Hydra, start cutting off heads. And pray that Hercules rules don't apply. Whereas when a head is cut off, when a head is cut off, 2 more take place in its place. That's the Hercules rules. And I thought, if that happens, I have no idea what to do.
What kind of shield were you rocking at this point?
At this point, I think I had the spider shield on, just because that's what that was my walking around shield.
You leveled it up any, or
a little bit, a little bit. It was definitely better than it was. It was the best one I had on me at the time.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'll start cutting off the heads. The tricky bit I found was getting in close enough to taunt the attack, but not being so far away that he does the laser. And then when he does the head attack, being able to get out of the way of that attack and then counterattack as well. And I was going all right. I was taking out, a head at a time. I nearly walked into the deep bit because on the very edge of his lake, there's like a ledge that you can see just underneath the thing. And if you're not paying attention, you won't see it. But I looked down and I saw this there's a very clear lip at the edge of the water. And I nearly walked past it.
That's the bit where you thought that the game had glitched for Sean and that he fell off the edge of the world.
Yeah, I saw that with Sean. He said he kind of glitched and ended up somewhere under the undead berg.
That's where he fell.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, so I found that. The worst part of the whole fight was when he had one head left. Because I could not make him attack somewhere that I could hit him. Like, you run around a bit and go, oh, come on then, you silly bastard, come on, bring it on. And he would attack with his head, but it'd always be about 20 feet away from where I was stood. Yeah. And by the time I got up close to him, he'd picked his head back up. And then, of course, because these things happen at once, my phone started ringing.
Oh, man.
With my good friend...
Do people not have any shame?
I know! My good friend James was
Do they not know?
And yeah, my good friend James was trying to call me. I was like, I can't answer the phone because of the giant Hydraman.
Honestly, the amount of times my neighbours will be living their lives, like chopping things and walking across their floor, my ceiling, when I'm trying to go through Blighttown. Honest to God, have you got no shame? Have you got no pride? There's no morals in your heart.
Respect my time.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, I finally got this damn Hydra to headbutt somewhere I could hit. Went apeshit on him. And yeah, tried the Hydra in one attempt.
Really? Good man.
One attempt. Because I got the hang of getting him to kind of taunt and then attack and taunt and attack. The worst bit that took the same amount of time as the whole fight was that last head. I just couldn't get it to land anywhere I could hit it. And then I phoned my friend back. And I said...
It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No,
and
I phoned him back.
Patrick, you're confronting the Hydra. Question 1. Do you... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I phoned and I said, I'm sorry, I was Dark Soulsing. He's like, oh, what were you doing? I was doing the Hydra. It's like, fair enough.
Yep.
Because he knew. He's like, okay, I understand that completely. I am not even angry. I was like, that's good.
Not spec, as they say on the street.
Yeah. And then he came around a couple of hours later and we played board games all night. But that's another story. So yeah, tried the Hydra. Was very happy with myself. I thought, fuck yeah, Hydra. And I looked around a bit. As you do, you think, right, okay, I'm looking around. What else is here? And it kind of looked a bit like a dead end. And then I saw the waterfall. And I thought to myself, because in popular fiction and everything that has ever existed, there's always something behind the waterfall.
Yeah.
In every media known to man. It's as ingrained in your brain as press X to jump. It's there. You think, right, let's have a little look-see. So I kind of hugged the edge of the waterfall just in case, and I was looking out for the ledge of the world as well in case I fell off. Went around the back, and of course you find a giant great snake eater ladder.
Yep.
So off you trolley up the ladder, as you do.
Oh, you went up the ladder. You didn't continue on sort of down near the waterfall.
Well, I know there's something else nearby past that, but I didn't go there. I knew there was something further on, but I took the ladder up. This was my thing. Took the ladder up as you do, then took another ladder a bit more.
That makes it sound deliciously Donkey Kong.
Yeah, absolutely. Picked up a giant hammer, went around and hit some barrels. Found the little bridge, went over that, went up another ladder, and reached the top of Darkroot Garden.
Yeah.
And when you reach the top, you've got two ways you can go. You can either go sort of into the wood that's ahead of you.
Yeah.
Or you can turn around and go over a little bridge and go into the wood that's behind you. And as you do, toss a coin. Went over the bridge.
Okay.
And you go over the bridge and you're looking in the forest and you're sort of looking to see any enemies, like if any tree people which inhabit the forest, the early bit that you go to. Looking for tree people and looking for like the snake things that hang off the trees as you do. And sort of looking through the forest and I can sort of see something moving around in the distance. So I kind of, I sort of walk up a bit closer. Meow. Yeah. And it's like, oh, look, there's some sort of cat bear thing. Oh, that's kind of cool. And you can see it from a distance, and it's sort of proddling around by itself, and it's got like a Cheshire Cat's face. That's kind of cool.
Remember what game this is, Patrick. Remember what game you're playing.
I remembered what game I was playing because the Catman did the Catman Dude. He dooed a little roll, and then he comes at you at like 100 miles an hour.
He batters it.
It's like a shocking cannonball of fur. Shot at your face.
Even if you try and take them out at distance with like poison arrows, you'll get one launch and they'll just go spasmo.
They absolutely go spare. But yeah, this thing dived at me. It hit me, knocked me to the side. This was like a level 9.
What, of a scream?
Of a oh Jesus Christ scream, yeah.
Fantastic. Are you sort of approaching Jimmy Somerville levels at this point?
Very nearly.
Superb.
It's very nearly. Body for home. It's nearly there. Anyone who's not from England won't get that.
No, probably not the Jimmy Somerville reference either. But
no. So yeah, I obviously panicked. It hit me. It knocked me to the side. Oh, crap! Where did it go? Ran away, chugged an Estus, and came back. Luckily, this stupid cat bear thing had got itself stuck against a tree, and it had kind of gone down a little hill. And it had its head kind of stuck next to a tree. And I could see it walking and sort of trying to move. And it was stuck. And I thought, ooh, easy kill. Trottled up behind it. Fireball. Keeping my distance.
Yep.
Because I ain't stupid. Fireball. Dead. Yes! Superb. That moment is when I panicked and ran back to a bonfire. Because I thought, you know what? I've still got all these Hydra souls I've not put into anything. And if that's going to happen a lot, I'd quite like to, use them.
You made the right decision there, sir, I think.
Yeah, I ran away.
I think that degree of just go back.
Yeah.
Just go back is a wonderful thing.
No,
you know by instinct, by the things that you've taken on thus far, when you're being logical and you're not being a twat, you know the point where you just go, don't do it. It's like in, and this is going to alienate American listeners again, but there was a game show on here in the dim and distant past called Bullseye, where people could gamble the money that they made in the early rounds, and they would raise a little bit of money for charity, and the guy behind it would go, now the money that you raise for charity, that's safe. That money's safe, but you can gamble your money against this week's special prize, a speedboat.
Always a speedboat.
These people would be from some sort of suburban town which had never seen water and probably didn't own taps.
From like Chiswick.
But it's a little bit like that. You go back to the bonfire. Them souls that you've earned earlier, those souls you earned for charity, This Sif. This Sif. That's souls in the bank.
Now you can gamble the 100 that you have left. I think that's a fine gamble. I'm okay with that gamble.
Against leveling up.
Yeah. So, yeah, got safe, came back, and I thought, I'm going to go a different way this time. Because that Catman was lucky. I don't think I'll get that again. That was a lucky shot. So I went the other way instead. So I went off, rather than going over the bridge and seeing the cat people, I went the other way into the forest.
Mushroomland!
Mushroomland! Yeah, I met some mushroom men. I didn't hit them because they weren't attacking me. I thought, oh, look at the little cute mushroom men. So I left them be. Kind of trottled around a bit inside the forest, met loads of tree guys, tougher tree guys. They're definitely stronger than the first. Yeah, and luckily, obviously, I had my fire broadsword at this point, so they were going down like a clown, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I did all right against the tree people, and I kept trolleying forward a little bit. And then I met ghosts.
Cool.
Did
you meet Faris?
I met ghost archers. I have no idea what their names were. I just know they were bastards.
That's Faris.
Right.
Now, the great thing about Faris is when you do nail him, you get an amazing longbow. It's better than the regular longbow, and it can also fire at longer distances.
So I got...
You get a great hat as well. You get a really fancy hat.
Oh, even better. So I got shot by him a few times, and there was also a ghost swordsman that came at me as well, and, panic. Jesus Christ, a bloody ghost! They kind of trolleyed me fairly quick. So then I had a long panicking, because I saved at the bonfire, the one back at the very start of Darkroot Basin. So I had to come all the way back up, go up all the ladders again, go all the way around where the Hydra used to be, and so it's a good couple of minutes getting back there. Just about got my souls back, trolleyed back, and thought, okay, right, ghosts in that way, no. I'm going to go back the way of the cat people. So I went back the way of the cat people. And this time I saw two. In the distance. I was like, oh, pissing crap. And they saw me. And they did the dive thing, but I was kind of behind the tree line at this point.
Okay.
And they didn't get past it. I was like, oh, okay, it's interesting. And I saw to the left-hand side of me a message on the floor. So the cat kind of ran away, and I thought, right, okay, I'll go see what the message says. I ran over, and it said sniper point. I thought, okay.
People are good when they do stuff like this. This is a Demon Souls trick. Like the armor spider.
Yeah.
There was a great little sort of nook in that where I ran in and was panicking, and somebody put sniper spot, and the armor spider couldn't fire and get them.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, whoever put this down, I love you, I love your family, and I praise you, I praise you.
Forever.
I praise you like I should. I want to praise you.
So yeah, I praised him. I did praise the sun when I was finished with this fight. But I went up and I stood at this point where it said sniper spot. And the thing is, it wasn't even behind the trees. It was kind of halfway up a bit of hill. I thought, there's no way this is safe. So I stood there and I put up my shield and I waited for the inevitable, battering. And it didn't come. The cats run at you, but they can't hit you. They don't want to go down the hill. I was like, am I safe? Drop the shield.
Sweet.
And they were barreling at me. They were doing the cannonball of death move. And they weren't. They were missing every time. I was like, oh, brilliant. Okay. Can I poison them? So, like you say, you tag one with a poison arrow, and then it goes spastic and runs away. Like, okay, I'm not going to get... Yeah, I'm not going to get his poison meter up. This ain't working. What else have I got? Fireballs. Chuck, 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 chuck. Both of them dead in seconds. I was like,
look, boom.
It was fucking A. So trolley bomb forward that way through. Bit more of an open area. And then I met the creepy person in the house.
Oh, yes. Alvina.
I met Catface. And it's very Alice in Wonderland. That bit, you see a kind of a castle looking, kind of a small broken looking castle. And you think, okay, I'll go in there. I'll see what's in there. So you trottle on up and you walk through.
I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. That's really cool.
It's basically, it looks like the Cheshire Cat just hanging off a wall, going, "Hello,
I completely hadn't thought of that. You're right.
Yeah, and it's like, join my covenant. And I was like, you know what? I'm a son, bro. You're okay. That was mistake number one. Because as you progress through, you go outside, and obviously the Forest Covenant are outside.
They
don't like you at all.
Nope.
And I had a kind of a very tense fight with, there's the first guy you meet has an axe. And I think
he's axe man.
Yeah, and he's got a magic bro that's somewhere near him as well that does, I think, miracles. It's got to be miracles.
No, he does magic. It's not miracles.
Okay, he was kind of crouching down and doing some sort of area effect. But anyway, I didn't.
Oh
Stay
yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, just near him. I think he does some sort of replenish, but
Yeah, it was something like that. So
yeah.
I took those two out without too many problems. Thought, right, awesome.
Yeah, but you did well there because that axe guy, he's got quite a lot of momentum in that swing, and he's really good at breaking guard.
He's tenacious.
Yeah.
But I was using a dodge, hit and run strategy, get in, attack a couple of times, and run away.
I still think you've done well with that kid because he is a swine.
I have lost against him in the future.
Okay, I'll take it all back.
Yeah, I did well, and then it's all gone to hell. So trolleyed him, great. Trolleyed his magic friend, which was good. Progressed a little bit further in. Met another ghost who flattened me. Absolutely flattened me in
He's super tough, yeah.
Yeah, in like one move. Oh bollocks! Okay.
Oh, was it the one that is a little bit like the thieves in the lower part of Undead Burg, or was he kind of a knight?
He was more of a knight.
Yeah,
with a big sword, and he just ran like trolleyed. You're dead.
Yeah, thankfully he's a dude that doesn't respawn. But
I found that out later when I killed him.
Lols.
Yeah, went back up, did that bit again. Tried the first two. Knew the knight was there this time, and I was ready for him, and I took him out as well. So walking up towards the kind of big glowing-looking door thing, I turned the camera around to the left. Soul arrow, one hit, dead. Out of nowhere. Also, it was just chance that I turned the camera around because I could see it coming at me, but there was no time to do anything about it.
Was this the NPC, or were you human at this point?
This was an NPC. This was an NPC, a magic NPC. And that guy, it took me about 3 goes to get rid of that one guy. And that's dying, going back up, getting my souls back, fighting, dying, going back up, getting my soul. And it was a long-winded process, but I finally worked out how to get rid of him. Which was getting up in his grill. So I was trying to range him out and it wasn't working. Because he's absolutely useless at close range.
He's a tough one, even when you're doing that sort of circle round and hiding behind the steps and keeping your shield up, as I sort of put in a little video a while back.
Yeah.
But even if you do that cycle round and he can even vaguely hit you with that soul arrow, you're in trouble most of the time because it's a tough one. Although he does have a comedy move. Have you seen his comedy move?
I've not seen his comedy move. What's his comedy?
Where he tries to pull out the sorcerer's catalyst and fire, and instead pulls out his sword and holds it up like the sorcerer's catalyst, and then sort of shakes it and looks at it, and then realizes it's a sword and puts it away and gets out the sorcerer's catalyst. It's a brilliant move.
Oh, I need to see that. Oh, I'm gonna have to go and farm him a bit until that happens. I want to see that now. Because I've done that once or twice with weapons. I think, I'm out of spells. Oh, poo.
I love that they put in like little moves like that. It's fantastic. It's nice my favourite on those is taking one of the melee guys up to the edge and just keeping my shield up and watching them twat against the shield and slowly move further back.
Yeah.
Till they're like, ha! Ah!
I will kill you!
Curse you into the next line.
And then you sort of hear like a Wile E. Coyote sort of...
just like a little tiny like...
little poof. And then the poof is his souls which come to you. So I got through that, got to the door finally after a few attempts, and I recognised it. I recognised the back door as the door that has the way in from the very first time you go to Darkroot, where there's the bonfire before you go take on the butterfly. It's the Artorias door, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah.
And I saw it, I thought, I know what that is. Yeah. Don't have the crest. Pooh. So I thought, okay, that's a shortcut, and that's a shortcut that's good because there's the bonfire on the other side of that. I know there's a bonfire on the other side of that.
Well, because we grow up to.
Yeah, so I did a very long mission, all the way back around to Santa.
Wow, good man.
It took a while. It was a long mission, all the way back, all the way around the long way. Found halfway back as you're just about to go back past Darkroot Basin. To go back to the Valley of the Drakes, I saw the path up, which drops you back down in the first bit of Darkroot Forest.
Yeah.
Took that. I thought, brilliant. I know where I am now. Trolleyed back, found Santa, bought the crest of Artorias, which I knew was there.
which is brilliant. I mean, that's one of those things where even if early on you plow that 20,000 souls in there, it is a worthwhile shortcut to buy. Really worthwhile shortcut.
It is the best shortcut so far, I think.
And especially if you want to do some sort of grinding for souls, that little circle round, hide behind the stairs, and stick your shield up.
I did that a couple of times. I thought, no, this is too easy. I need to do it properly. And decided to run away. I got my shield, got my crest, ran back through, tagged at the bonfire. I died a few more times progressing through that level at that point, but I was okay with it because I could just respawn back at the bonfire and just trundle on through, straight through the door, and off you go. And then, after a bit more experimenting in the forest, I found the Great Wolf Sif.
I'm going to say this now. One of the greatest boss battles ever in the history of Everdom.
After playing it, I would have to agree. It was superb. It did trolley me a couple of times. I'll give it that. It trolleyed me because, you kind of walk in and it's a big empty place with this grave. You're like, oh, this is different. And you're thinking, something bad's going to happen. Is it going to be a zombie? No, it's going to be a wolf that picks up the giant sword that you're looking at and holds it in its teeth and decides, right, enough of you, my lad. And the first couple of times I thought it was fairly one-sided advantage wolf. Because I was trying to fireball it, because I did get a lucky one off quite quickly and saw that it did quite good damage. I was like, okay. Yeah. But it's quite a tenacious fighter. It doesn't give you the time to cast the fireball and chuck it.
Also, isn't there a part of you that's just going, oh my God, you're beautiful.
You beautiful.
You know when it's doing that spin round with a massive sword and you're just thinking, oh my God, you're beautiful.
It's quite a spectacle fight because it's kind of big, and just the size of the wolf and the fact that it's sort of strong and it's powerful and it's kind of noble almost because it's defending that grave.
I put this to you, right now, and considering that you didn't know this beforehand, what were your thoughts 2/3 of the way into that battle?
2/3 of the way, when the attempt that I did where I won.
Yes, that attempt when Sif starts limping.
Yeah, I started feeling a bit bad.
But that's something that I've never really seen in a boss battle before.
Yeah,
because it gets to a point where
hurt.
You're just watching it, and obviously you've been battling this magnificent creature that looks original, it's fantastic, and it's glorious, and you're holding your heart in your mouth, and holding your breath as you're trying to get the energy down. And then when you get to the point where the creature starts limping, you suddenly go, and it suddenly becomes really tragic that I mean, obviously there's a degree of I've nearly got it down, but there's a part of you that just goes, oh my God!
Did I do that?
But isn't it sad and tragic and I love it.
It's really because it hits you right in the feels.
Yeah.
But I mean, the time I beat it, I had a friend. I bought a bro in because it stomped me a few times. I thought, no, I need a bro. Yeah. So to be honest, we got through it quicker than I had time to really appreciate the limp. Yeah. Because we were kind of just going hard.
Was it a white bro? This sounds racist, but it's not. Was it a white bro or was it a sun bro?
I think it was a white bro. I don't think it was a sun bro. I think it was just a regular white bro. I think he had the onion armor on.
Oh right, that's not so bad. If you rock the Catalina, that's fine with me.
He was trolling around like that. He was rolling about, and he was getting up and close, and I was walloping the fireballs from a distance. So we saw a bit of the limp. I saw enough to think, "Ooh, am I a knob? Like, am I a bastard?"
But doesn't that fight stay with you afterwards? I've seen gifs of that and pictures of it, and people making artwork interpreting it, and I still think the battle itself is incredible, but that point where Sif climbs atop that grave and looks down at you, and then you see the jump into the battlefield with the sword in mouth, and you just like, what?
Shit just got real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to bring it up again, but it reminded me a lot of a couple of the boss fights in Nier.
Oh, right. Cool. Yeah.
Because on your second run of Nier, you feel like a bastard. You feel like such a horrible person.
I'm so going to have to start
The
playing.
first run is quite empowering. The first run's great. And you're like, yeah, in your face, evil. And the second run, all of a sudden, you're like, oh no, I've made horrible mistakes everywhere. And it's the same, but I'm not going to spoil it because it's superb and I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, Wolf Sif, exactly the same emotion as that. That kind of, I'm a knob. He was just protecting that, and then I killed him, and oh, I'm a knob. But then I got his ring, and I felt good.
Yeah.
All sad feeling out of the door. Because
it's the ring of Artorias, isn't it? Because you've kind of already got Sif's ring with the wolf ring, which is an amazing ring. And on this run that I'm doing now, I'm kind of realizing that I've never really made the most of that ring. Because when you're wearing it, I mean, yeah, it gives you extra poise, but you can't be staggered. And it's really helpful when you've got like big fights, and rather than getting knocked back or sort of knocked off guard, you just stand there. You'll take it. And even in parts where you know that R2 maneuver that I've been using with the reinforced club?
Yes.
When someone stabbed me, when I've been jumping with that motion, I've actually followed through and twatted them and not fallen back. It's a great ring to use.
Manpower.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I'd beaten the wolf, I felt good about myself. I plugged a few more souls into my pyromancy glove, which I think I've got. The second glove is now up to about a +4 or 5 now, I think. So I'm getting
good man.
I'm getting there. It's taken a while, but it's getting there. Then I hung around Darkroot for a bit. Looking to help some other people do that bit. Didn't find anyone, but I did help some people take out the Moonlight Butterfly.
Cool.
And what I did after our sessions where you experimented with the club with nails, I also upgraded my club with nails. I thought, okay, I'm going to try it out.
Cool.
Joined a guy, roddled on through. The first stone giant gets up, run in, R2, stone giant falls down. And the other guy sort of stopped. Looked, you could sort of see he was thinking, was that one hit? And he bowed, and I was like, yes!
Oh, fantastic!
And I bowed, and I bowed back.
Didn't you do something like that when we were bro hopping around there, and you kind of went, what is that? Have you upgraded? What is... And
why did it fall down so fast?
Yeah. But that's,
he bowed
with the gestures and stuff. The gestures, I think, it's another example of the gestures having so much that you can do with them, and so much comedy and touching moments. But that was fantastic. That's
getting someone else to appreciate. And then I was letting him get the first attack in, and then I was finishing them off, and it was quite good. And as we cleared the level out, we were kind of bowing back and forward and doing the "come at me, bro" animation. At these guys, which was quite fun. He was waking them up. I was come at me broing while they were waking up, and then running in and twatting them with the R2 attack, which was fun every single time. And we trolleyed the butterfly really quickly. I got a message from him afterwards, going, "What were you doing?" And I was, Force Club, just level it up a bit. R2. He's like, "You star." So yeah, we're spreading the gospel of the reinforced club with nails.
Superb.
Yeah, so I hung around there a bit, as you do, helping a few people out, and then I came back and I gave you a hand after about an hour.
Yeah, that was Sens Fortress, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, what I did, I went back to Sens Fortress, and I looked down in the first bit, and you can see a couple of Titanite demons down the bottom.
Yep.
And I thought, okay. Titanite demons. I've got me stick with nails in it now. It's been leveled up a bit. I reckon I can have him. I can jump down. So I did the jumping dive attack off the top, which nearly killed me. I just went straight for. I saw him. I thought, right, he's down in the distance. I can definitely see a Titanite demon. Sod it, and I just jumped off. Did the downwards bonk attack, which worked rather well. Took off a good chunk of his health. Found out that the bottom of Sens Fortress is just tar, which hampers your movement incredibly. And you kind of, you trottle around slowly, and I'm thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, I've made a mistake. But walloped that first Titanite demon in one go. I was like,
yeah,
brilliant. Okay, next. Moved on through the swamp of tar. Took out a few lizard men from the bottom because they were chucking magic like no one's business, and managed to get rid of those fairly easily. I saw another one in the distance underneath like a tunnel almost in the distance. I went in far enough to piss him off, led him back into the tunnel, and those Titanite demons, the ones with the one leg, when they try and do their jump attack, and there's no headroom, they kind of just sit there. And they let you get a few free shots in. So the second one went down like that as well.
Yeah.
Because he barely even did any offensive moves. I was like, okay, top dollar, wicked. Right, let's see what else is down there. Found the side entrance down the side, filled with tar, went round the corner. Met another Titanite demon. This was a 3 out of 10 scream. Because I kind of expected something to be there. After fighting 2, I thought there's got to be more. There's got to be another surprise. So I was kind of ready. I didn't expect the Titanite demon to be right in front of you when you turn the corner. Yeah. Which is the reason for the slight scream. But I saw it, and this one's a lot tougher. That one I've still not beaten. Which is why I said, shall we do Sens Fortress? Because I've got some problems.
Yeah, I mean, we need to sort of bro up into your game with that one. Because those guys are swines around that corner. I mean, in previous games, I've had... When I've been rocking Miracles, I've had the Thorolin Talisman in my shield hand, just so I can lead with the left and peek round the corner a bit. And as I'm slowly moving round the corner, I'm drawing out the lightning spear with a... and then sort of just chucking it, and then running around the corner, and then doing that as many times as it takes. But the swine will walk right through to the entrance and try and hammer you with lightning right past the other end of that tunnel. Even
his melee attack will hit you from a good distance away in that.
Yeah.
And he trolleyed me a few times. I thought, okay, we'll bro up. Then after maybe half an hour to an hour of trying to join each other's games, we thought, you know what, I'm just going to help you. Because you hadn't done Sens at that point, had you?
No, I mean, with my game, an hour playthrough, I'm kind of trying to hold back a little bit so that we can...
Stay at the same level.
Yeah, and so that I can advise odd little bits as we're going on, even if you're jumping into my game, odd bits of lore or just little quirks as we go along. Plus, it's fun to have you like with Sens. You'd already gone through Sens and you'd gone to Anor Londo, but it was and at that point you were saying, "Oh, I've been monkeying around Sens a little bit more," but it was fun to see how confident you were in there, what you'd experienced, even advice that you gave me.
Yeah.
From your run. So, but that's
swapping strategies. Swapping lizard man strategies.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe 3 times we were going across those the bridges with the scythes on them together.
Yeah.
And maybe 3 times you went first, got to the other side, managed to trigger the trap as I was still coming. I was like, oh, this flaps! Shield up, and I'd always get hit by the first one, but get my shield up in time for the second 2. But that happened like at least 3 times. Yeah. And we forgot about that trap every single time. Because it was getting across the sides, wasn't it? The worst ones was the ones where you've got to run across in one go. And it was quite nice sharing that panic moment of, okay.
This comes back to what you were saying earlier, within the fact that you can go through that level so many times and you can still forget stuff.
Absolutely.
That guy, that trolling little bastard lightning guy near the top who stands on his ledge, the amount of times I go round that corner and he wallops me off.
Yeah. And then, again, I mean, I had problems with him on my single player run on my own.
Yeah.
I forgot he was there as well. And we sort of started walking to the door and you were going, get back. I'm like, why? I was like, move! And then I saw the lightning fly past and then I let you past.
But we had conversations when we were doing that bit with regards to Sens Fortress in general and how it's mentioned that a few people have said it's one of the best designed levels in gaming.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you entirely agree with that.
Absolutely, yeah, no, because every single corner, every nook, every cranny, every passage, every single trap has been so carefully put together. And you're not just going to walk through a corridor and shoot a bunch of dudes, because that sucks.
Sean mentioned that he thought it was very almost traditional Castlevania. And I can see that. I can really see it.
Deliberate design, and it's like, okay, there's this enemy here, there's that enemy there, and you kind of it ramps up as you go through it.
Yeah.
And not only I think the enemies they throw at you, they throw a couple more as you go through, but it's more about the positioning of the enemies rather than the strength of them.
What,
so
you
you're
mean
going
like
around corners and you've got one. There's a boulder coming at you and a snake. You're like, oh Jesus Christ!
And of course, your first encounter with the mimic
Absolutely, yeah.
in a very tiny room.
Which was funny, yeah. We trolleyed him really easily together, didn't we?
But how did that? How did you get on the octave scale?
With the mimic,
Yeah.
I would say, mimic was probably a 6 or a 7.
Uh-huh.
The initial shock was, oh no, a mimic, and then it kind of ate me. So it was kind of a delayed one on that one. It wasn't a big shock that, oh look, he woke up. It's a mimic. I know what mimics are. But the fact that
thing with the mimic is that massive kick it does.
I mean, I don't think it even attacked us together, did it? We just kind of took a side each and thought, okay, ready?
I think we rode it.
Yeah, okay, ready, attack.
That might be the first point where you went, that weapon.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun, taking him out in different ways, just chucking combustion up his ass while you were doing something else at the front. I don't think he even got up that far, did he?
No, I think we absolutely battered him. I think you used combustion at the front and I was behind and just did that amazing jumping R2 attack with the reinforced club. With
the stick of twatting.
Yeah, the baseball bat of doom.
So yeah, I mean, apart from that, we went through, explored the level a bit, took out those big iron giants at the top. Got invaded, didn't we?
We did a couple of times by the same guy, I think, and he didn't even bow.
No, he run in. I think he firestormed, and it caught us both a couple of times, didn't it?
I think it nobbled me completely, and I think you nearly got him down to near nothing.
I got a backstab him. Wasn't quite enough. He just turned around and just boom and
Because at that point I was already returning to my world, and I was like, Patrick, what's going on? What's going on, Patrick? Pat.
What's going on? I'm dead. But yeah, taking out the Iron Giant in one go was a lot of fun. And so you showed me where that NPC was that I'd never seen before as well. In the little side room where you can take out the giant at the top.
Yeah.
Never knew that NPC was there. Never. But again, it's the same thing. That there's something in every single room that is there to help you. One of
the advantages to tempt you into being human. Because I said it before that initially I thought there was no advantage to being human in Dark Souls, but it will give you not only people that you can summon into your game, but NPCs that will help if people aren't there to summon, and obviously if you're playing offline as well.
It can be a real help.
And he's great for distracting the Iron Golem as well, especially if you're sort of standing around and twatting it from distance.
Yeah, which is what we ended up doing, didn't we? We sort of stood on either side. I was definitely chucking fireballs, because I think what we did is you stayed at the front. I ran around the back of him, and our NPC friend twatted him up close. And I think, didn't you get stunned for a good half of his health? He just sort of stood there.
The best one I've ever seen with that, and I saw it. I've seen it a couple of times when somebody came in with like a massive weapon. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was bigger than a Zweihander. I think it might a Zweihander. I believe it's pronounced
Zweihander.
But somebody came with a massive weapon and actually knocked the Iron Golem off the top. It was amazing. I just kind of went, what? Because he actually knocked him off the ledge, which was just gobsmacking.
Batterberg.
Get on with you! Be falling!
Yeah, so that went really well, I thought. And I guess that brings us up to where we are at the moment. And I guess we've got no choice now but to hit Anor Londo next.
Yeah, I mean, Anor Londo is a fantastic one for Bro-Op anyway, because you'll often get invasions pretty readily in Anor Londo.
Yeah.
How far have you been into it?
I literally got to the bonfire before I realised you can go. When you told me about the way to go back, I went back via the handy gargoyle that sort of stands there and goes, do you want to go back home? I was like, yes, please. Thanks, Mum.
So yeah, that's one that it's fun to plough into it sort of regularly, but it's one especially good for Bro-Op, because especially when you get a clear run to the bosses, who are incredibly difficult anyway. They're one of the most difficult bosses in the game.
Yeah.
you really have to be human in that running, and on the run, there's a good chance you're going to get invaded. I think it's a 2 or 3 person boss.
Yeah.
But I've been there where I've had trouble initially getting down to the boss without being invaded, and then a certain point where I picked up 2 other summoners who were just so powerful. We had an invader, and they took the invader out in seconds. And I think the boss battle lasted about 2 minutes, including cutscene.
Nice.
Because they just bollocked them.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
A helpful friend. So yeah, we're gonna have to try that at some point in the next couple of days, because I'm gagging.
Well,
to go into Olympus.
There's something. I mean, that's the great thing about being a Sumbro, I think. Is that we look out for each other, you know?
Yeah. Sumbros represent, yo.
And speaking of that, all I'm going to say is, this is for you and me, Patrick. Are you with me?
I'm listening.
All right, here we go.
I'm not sure what's happening.
We're no strangers to souls. You own the game, and so do I. Covenant of Sunlight's what I'm part of. I want the bad guys to prepare to die. I just want to help you like a son, bro. Bro up to make you understand. Always gonna praise the sun. Some bros have all the fun. Just summon me in and I'll help you. You died will not appear. I'll be throwing out lightning spears. Being awesome like a lair of Astora.
Wow. Oh.
Thanks.
Wow, that's 11 out of 10. My mind has just been blown at the back of my head, and it's somewhere on the wall opposite.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to make word do now. Do it, but that was good. That was a good song.
At this, like, since I got in, just thinking like, how can I do this?
You've got to work it in some. Is that the new game?
I did. Yes, Song Wars.
Song Wars, Dark Songs.
I just wanna help you like a son, bro up to make you understand.
We're gonna have an album by the end of this. Thinking about them souls.
We could. I think Teddy Bear's Picnic is still a good one to call it, but we could also call it Havel the Rick.
Oh, rock rolled.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's call it an end there, because that was fun. That was Darkroot Garden. That was Teddy Bear's Picnic, and that was a giant dead dragon waking up and making me do a poo. Next time, for real this time, Anor Londo.
Absolutely. I look forward to it, my man.
Absolutely. My name was Paddy Stardust.
And I am CJ, also known as Coffee Jesus on the Polygon forums and stuff.
Other places.
Yes.
As I say, if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about the bad things that happened. Maybe give us your ratings on how much you pooed when some of these things happened. I want to see scores, people. And we might do a recap of that next time, if you do
Indeed.
that. Yes, the Dark Souls poo count. Coming live. And on that, we will see you next time.
Right,
bye!
thanks for tuning in. Bye.